Hello everyone, welcome to my Code Wrapper channel. So in this today tutorial we'll be looking at the next step of the PHP arrays. Let me show you before starting what we are going to do in this section. So we'll be defining what is an array, and we'll understand how to create an array in PHP and how to assign values into array and how to print an array and how to loop through an array. So these are very fundamental stuff that everyone should know when they are starting to learn PHP. So we'll start it now. So I'll be first defining what is an array. So array is somewhat like a variable, but from the variable what you see is it's a one way of creating or keeping a value in a single location. But we have an issue if we are going to have multiple values. So if you don't have this concept, what happens is we have to make sure that we'll be having multiple variables created for each and every single data. So that will be a headache. So what we can do is we can simply create an array. So the array will allows you to have multiple location in the single array and allow you to hold multiple data. So at the end of the code you will be having a one single array which is having multiple data. So you can pass many of data to a single array. So how we going to create an array? Right, so I'll first create a file called array.php. And open the PHP code block. So the most basic way that you can create the array is by turning a variable into an array. So we know how to create a variable in PHP, so you can use the $sign and after that the variable name. So I will create my to-do list. So I'll make this as to-do list. So this is the variable. So I'll turn this into an array by using the array function. So this array function will turn this variable to an array data type. So if you're going to use the get type function and pass this variable to the get type, you will able to see that this is a array data type. So if I just do a echo get type and then I'll put my to-do list, so this will show us it's an array object, array data type. So let me run this. So you need to start the Apache, no need of MySQL, and then I'll go into the code wrapper, and first I need to save this file. So this is the array.php. and you can see it says it's an array data type. So let me comment that. Okay, so our array implementation is done, but there are some other ways that we can do further. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign some values into this array. So I can simply refer to the array, that is my to-do list, and open close square bracket will be the place where you will be informed to this array this is the location I want to keep the data. So this is, in technical term, it's you consider as a indexing. So you are giving an index number. So you can think about like in a classroom where you have an exam ready, and when you have the so then that room will be considered as an exam hall. So in that hole you will be have different students are facing for the exam. So each and every student has an index number. So if you consider as the exam hall as a one array, so inside that array there are multiple indexes. So each index will allows you to hold some set of data. So index are starting from 0. So when it's come to PHP, you will learn that you can have numbers as well as you can have the string characters as well. But at the beginning I'll use the numbers. So for this index, that is index number 0, I'm going to pass a string data that is called Sunday. And then I have another location marked in this array, that is index number 1, say Monday. So I can have another index, that is index number 2, says that is Tuesday. So now these three strings are available in 3 indexes in the same array. So my next index, that is number 3, I'll put the days count. So per week we have 7 days. So I'll put 7. Clear? So in this same way I'll put another index, and this time I'll put a string. So I'll use this as working underscore hours. So here I'll use 8 to 5. So now you can see here there's a one distinguishing value comes here, that is you have a string value attached into the index. So that is very helpful when you are working with different set of data, because you want to get some idea about the data by looking at the index. So you don't need to drive into each and every value and understand it. You simply know that the array index gives us a meaning to you, right? So then now we have the array implementation is done. Now I want to print. So how I'm going to print this? So printing in the sense you are planning to print the whole pack or some set of data which is available in the array just for the printing. That will not allows you to do any modification in this array. So if I want to print, there are 2 functions we can use. One is called print underscore r. So I'll use the first one like this. So if you go back to the file, you can see that I am getting the to-do list array printed in the browser. So when you look at each and every item which is listed in this array, it gives us a meaningful message. So initially it says, like at the beginning it says it's an array, and after that within the brackets it inform all the items available in that array with the index value as well. So index number 0, you have the assigning operator available here, and this is the value. Then the index number 1 has Monday, index number 2 Tuesday. Likewise it has the whole set of data available in here. So the second one, so let me put a HR tag. So I'll use the var dump. So this is the second option you have if you want to print this array. So now the same array, but using the var dump, it provides us some more detail than the print underscore r. So it's also starting with the array, and it uses curly braces open and close, and within the array it says 5. So what is this number? So this is indicate that how many items available in your array. So if you count from number 1, this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 items available in this array. So that's why it's mean by 5. And then each and every index, like what you have in the printer, says 0, and then you have a more descriptive message about the data available in that index. So it says it's a string data type and it has 6 characters. So here we can see there are 6 characters. So likewise, if you go on to index number 3, it says it's an int value. So that means it's integer. And then it says 7, that is the value we added. So we have to make sure that the integer or the numbers doesn't have a character count. It's considered as a one single character. So hope you understood that the difference between the print_r and the var dump. So if you like to print a simple outcome, you can use a print_r, or if you need some more descriptive result, you can use the var dump. Then how you loop through a array. So when we try to loop in an array, like there are looping concepts available. So one is called for loop, one is called while loop. So those two looping concepts are straightforward, that you should have a starting point and the ending point and a pattern. But if you don't find out that kind of factors, you can't implement the looping by using for loop or while loop. So here also same, like you can see that from 0 to 3 we have a pattern, but in here the pattern is mismatched. So there's no any matching pattern for this. So in that scenario we may not able to use for loop or while loop to loop through an array. So this is the point that we are going to dynamically implement using the loop. So I'm not going to use the for loop or while loop because we have a dedicated looping syntax available for the arrays. So that is for each loop. So a special thing is in the for each loop is you don't need to worry about the starting, ending and the pattern. So the syntax already inbuilt to navigate each and every index in the array. So if I use the for each, so under for each, the first thing is you have to inform what is the array that you are going to loop through. So in my case that is my to do list. Then we use the keyword as, and then we can separate the index value and the respective data in that index. So if I use this as into a variable, the index value as in key, and this is the separation operator in here, then we can use the value. So we'll use the value. So now when the for each loop through this array, in the first round what happens, number 0 will assign to key variable, Sunday will assign to value variable. So in the second round, key will be considered as the 1 and value will be Monday. So you can simply put it onto a table. So if I create a simple table here, So I'll keep this table, and we'll create the row inside the for each loop because I want to have multiple rows. And I need 2 columns. So in this case, I'll first write the first td, and the first column is ready. So here I can use the key, and here I can use the value, right? So if I run this file, so you can see that the keys are coming in the first column and the values are coming in the second column. So in this case, like, you can modify it. So with this key you can just put index value is something like that. You can modify that value, right? You can put add any character into this key, or you can modify this value. So this is accessing the value inside this array, not like printing. So printing, we don't have any opportunity of modifying it. You can simply get a snapshot it, right? So that's the main difference that I want to discuss in here, right? So we can simply create this for each loop, and at the same time now I'm going to make another array which is telling office work. So in this case, I'll create the array, and at the same time I am defining the values as well. So we'll say the first index, I'll say Monday, and here the special thing, we are using the equal sign and the right angle bracket for the assigning operation. So we use for the Monday, I have a meeting with HOD and put a comma, and then Tuesday, so I have a visit to client place, Colombo, we'll say 7, and then say Thursday, I have a meeting with B. So likewise I have this value. So the special thing here is you added the values when you are creating the array. So that's the important thing. So you can do this first option, or else you can go with the second option. So most of the time you will see that arrays are implementing in this format, not like this. So latter part is same for this as well, right? So here we just simply create the array in 2 different ways. So the next option is, like, each and every this example we use a value for the index. But what happens if you don't use a index value? So it's very simple. PHP will automatically assign a number to that. So we'll say that I have country list, so I'm creating with the first option that I told you. So in here I'll say country list, open and close the square bracket, and keep it blank. So I'll make it Sri Lanka, likewise Japan, China. So if I try to print this, we'll say in here I'll put close this. So I'll use the print underscore R and use the country list. Right, so you can see now, without having the indexes implemented in the code, PHP automatically provides an index number 0, 1, 2, 3, likewise. So now I think I have covered all the areas what I explained here, creating the array and assigning values, printing the arrays, likewise. So there's a one part missing here, that is how you work with existing array functions. So we'll have another session because it has a lot of ready-made functions available, so we can spend some more time with this option. So we'll look at in another tutorial how to work with ready-made functions in array. So I'll stop this session for today, and we'll meet on next video, and let me know if you have any doubts, so then I can help you. So we'll stop this session. Thank you very much.